How's it going, you guys? We are gonna do a rose garden tour today. Some of our roses are looking really, really good. I am mic'd up and it's super windy, so if the audio is still a little bit garbage, I'm sorry. Uh, it's it's a really windy day. We are in the 70s right now, but a lot of the roses are looking so beautiful. A lot of them are in full bloom, and then some of them have zero blooms on them. So it's kind of weird. And this year I also am going to play, or next year, I'm going to play a little bit of shuffle with some of the roses that we have on the property. So I'm going to start out, we're going to go to the driveway over here, and we're going to, actually I'm going to start in the very front yard. I don't even know how many roses we have on the property anymore. It's a lot. I should probably count that really quick. Let me count and see how many roses we even have. I think it's 12 roses. And there's a really good chance that I miscounted and forgot one. So we're gonna go to the front yard and we're gonna start up here. I only have two in the front yard. First one being one that we just planted, which is the Eden Climber Rose. And then I also have Desdemona right here. It is so bright. Let's go look at the one that's all the way in the very front. Oh, look, our Halloween decorations. And before we get too far into this video, I just want to make sure that you guys know that this is, it's not a sponsored video by Heirloom Roses, but they have sent out a few roses for me to try, and they did give me an affiliate link, meaning that if you guys use my coupon code, Visit Fall, or if you click the link in the description down below, I do earn a small commission off of any roses that you guys do purchase. So a lot of these roses you guys can find on their website, and I do earn a small commission. It just kind of helps me be able to continue to do videos. So don't feel obligated to buy any roses, but I'm just sharing my experience with them, which I have absolutely loved. And I was able to give you guys a 20% off coupon, so even better. So let's get back into the rest of this. Okay, so this is our wild Cosmo patch. That was all, we seeded some of it, it died. We reseeded, or we didn't reseed, it self-seeded, and this is what came up. There's a whole bunch in the driveway. I'm leaving them. I don't really care. They'll die with the frost anyways. But I love this. Next year, I am probably not gonna do Cosmos up here because behind it, we have the Eden Climbing Rose. And this thing is so happy. I do need to take that out. I need to take this bamboo stake out, but she's doing great. So no blooms. The plan is to just kind of weave her in and out of the fence. So I'm gonna use my little pointer stick. Plan is to get it to weave up over all the way around, and then get some of these other branches to go up over, and hopefully to reach the top of the arbor up there. That is the ultimate goal with the Eden Climber. I cannot wait to see blooms on this one next year, but this one is doing so incredibly well, even with all of these Cosmos completely shading it out. The only reason I haven't had the heart to pull them is because there are so many bees on this thing. Look at that. There's a bee. There was just two of them. They're everywhere on this. So I don't have the heart to pull the Cosmos yet because they're still doing well, and the bees are appreciating it. So Eden Climber, first one back there. Now we're gonna head back over to that side really quick. Before we get too far into this, I forgot. This video wasn't even my plan for the day. I had a different idea planned for this video for you guys to see, but I had contacted Heirloom Roses because my roses were doing so well, and they said that they were going to give me another coupon code for you guys because you guys bought a ton of roses with the last one that I planted. And if you guys are in California or Zone 9, or you guys haven't even had your frost yet, now's a really good time to be getting some roses. So they're doing a 20% off coupon code for you guys. Use code VISITFALL, or click on the link down below and it should automatically take the 20% off of your guys' order. But anyways, pretty much every rose that we have on the property except for 2 or 3 you can get at Heirloom Roses, and I'm going to talk about them. So the first one, the Climbing Eden, that's from Heirloom Roses. You can get it there. Desdemona, it's a David Austin, but you can get it from Heirloom Roses. So let me turn the camera around and show you guys this one. Okay, so this here is Desdemona, and she has bloomed her head off this year, and she's still producing some blooms. They have started to slow down in size. I wish that I came out here a couple days ago because she had just had some that were so beautiful, but she creates some really, really cool rose hips. They're this burnt orange color with some striping to them. And so I leave her hips on quite a few of them because I will use these in like flower arrangements. I just think they're so pretty. So I'll come in, you know, pop all of that off like that, and then just use these in flower arrangements. She just produces really good ones, but she has such a pretty color. And the smell on this one, if you want a rose that is super fragrant, this is the one you want. It's like super fragrant, Desdemona. It has the nicest smell. Some of her rose hips come a little more like red color. I love this rose. This thing has been grown in a little bit more shade in a terracotta pot. So, you know, it didn't perform, it performed amazing. It's actually like an amazing performer, but it would have performed even better in ground. I also didn't do any pruning on it, so I need to come in this like fall and do pruning. I usually do some like rose pruning in the fall. I don't think you're supposed to though, so don't tell anybody, but that's what I do. So I'll come in and I'll lop these canes off and give it a more like structured shape. Really, really beautiful rose. So I moved her out here because I just thought that it would be really pretty. You come in the driveway and this is what you see is a nice, really pretty rose, and the little planter over there with the lights. And so I love this rose. Moved it out here just a couple weeks ago, and it's still doing really, really well. Still getting blooms on it, but like I said, nights are getting a little bit colder. So this is probably one of my, I can't even say one of my favorites. I just love roses. We're going through the back now. Okay, this is not my favorite rose in the world, but it is an amazing rose, and it is like such a really cool structural piece in the garden. I mean, this thing is like 7 feet tall. It's huge. This is called Mr. Lincoln. I think I called it Abe Lincoln the other day, but look at these roses. It is so pretty. It has a very like traditional rose smell to it. Like when you think of roses, this is what it smells like. Huge, huge blooms. And this is like where a lot of long stem roses come from. You can see how windy it is. But so a single rose all the way on this extremely long stem. And this is where I cut it last time, was right here. And it shot up with this beautiful long stem. I mean, that stem right there is probably 3.5 feet tall. It's so big, so beautiful. There's a bud right here, and the same thing goes all the way back to where it was cut. And then same thing here, but you can see it does have some pretty wicked thorns, but that's okay. And look at this. Is she not so pretty? Well, I guess it would be a he because it's Mr. Lincoln. I just love it. It's a really pretty rose. And the smell is beautiful, but you don't get a ton of blooms. You just get like one bloom per stem, and then it'll, okay, bye. It'll shoot out randomly little side shoots like that. So really cool rose. You can see there's another one right there. So as of right now, there's 2 full in bloom, 2 coming, and those 2 will die back, and then they'll shoot up new buds. So it continues the cycle. And this one you can also get from Heirloom Roses. And then if we come down here, this is an iceberg rose, and this is just kind of like a staple in most gardens. Really pretty, just white rose, climbing rose. We prune this thing back hard, and it does produce some really pretty, like soft orange hips. I really love the hips on this one, so I do leave the hips on this one. I think I leave them on 3, maybe 4 of my roses, but this one is really pretty. I have noticed that this one, aphids do flock to it, but it almost doesn't even matter because they just continues to produce so many blooms. I mean, you know, it's the end of the season. Really, we shouldn't even be getting blooms, and we just keep getting little flushes. You can see there and here. So this is the white iceberg rose, and you can get this one from Heirloom Roses as well. It's so windy. I'm so sorry, you guys. But I just think it's such a pretty, it's a bright white color, just kind of like that classic white rose that you would have in a garden. Okay, now we're gonna go this way. And over here, this is one that you can't, or this is 2 of them, and you cannot get either of these, unfortunately, from Heirloom Roses. So you'll have to kind of be on the lookout at your local garden centers. I am gonna bug Heirloom Roses to see if they can start growing this one, because this is one of my, like, if I had to pick like 4 roses to grow on the property, this would be one that I would grow out of the 4. This right here is Silver Lining. We have it in tree form. We actually had it planted here before the fence was built. The fence technically should go like another foot back, but there's a giant pine tree right here and we couldn't get it. It like hits right there and then it grows sideways. So we just decided to like lose a foot of property and let the pine tree right there. But silver lining, this thing, we cut it back. You can see not too long ago, it got cut back right here. And this thing produces the biggest, most beautiful purpley silver blooms. It doesn't really have a smell to it. And I don't normally notice too many aphids or any problems with it. It's just a like, overall, it's just a very like happy rose. And I love that it's in like this standard form. You can see the new growth. Most roses like this are like that really pretty like red color, which pruning it back right before fall made it look like it has fall color, which roses don't really get fall color, but I love this rose and it grows fast. We got, I think, 4 flushes of blooms this year from it. And then right down here, you guys saw me just plant this one. This one I'm really excited about. This is the Flavorette Honey Apricot, and she just continues to grow. She's doing great. Tasted this one when I was at Janie's house, and it is, you can taste like honey. I've never really like truly tried like a fresh apricot, so I can't say yes or no to apricot, but you can taste like a honey rose flavor to it. And it has like, the petals have like a crunchiness, almost like an apple. So it's kind of crazy. But when I got this thing, it was just little, you know, little tiny sticks and there was not really any growth to it. So it's put on pretty much this entire shoot right here and almost all of this actually. But it does have some pretty wicked thorns. This one should start showing up in garden centers next year. So it's not quite available yet if you go out looking for it, but I think you might be able to get it online. Either way, this one's from Proven Winners, and you cannot get this one from Heirloom Roses. Okay, we're gonna keep going down. If we go down this way, this is one that I don't know what it is. This one was actually one that I pulled out of a trash can because someone was throwing it away and I just couldn't help myself. There's a bee back there and something else. Nope, that's the center of it. Okay, this one has really, really full, pretty blooms and they kind of change. It starts looking out like a peony and then it continues to open and then it just looks like kind of like this, like, I don't know, it looks very like cottagey, like kind of messy, but not like, I mean, I don't think a rose is messy. It's a very full, frilly rose. And I just think it's so pretty. We get kind of a good amount of buds from it. But anyways, we've had this one for 3 years and I love it. It's a really, really pretty rose. It produces quite a few blooms. Each one, like you can see from right here, there was 3 blooms and then there was 2 blooms. And we grow this one in a container. I don't know the name of it, and that's the only one that I don't know the name of. Down here in this, I have a David Austin, and this one is called Royal Jubilee, and I am so sad she never broke dormancy. And I mean, you can see she's still green, but she just never like came out of it. So I'm not exactly sure what happened with that, but kind of disappointing. She just like sat there all summer and spring looking like sticks. Royal Jubilee, she got discontinued by David Austin, so they don't even carry it anymore. So I think multiple people must have been having problems with it. But that's what she looked like. I loved her when she did bloom. She was definitely like one of my favorite roses that was blooming, but not if she's gonna do that weird thing. Anywho, we're gonna move down. The next one is called Queen of Sweden. She's not blooming. She has 1 bud coming right now, and oh, she has a bug on her. So I'm not gonna touch the bug. I don't wanna touch the bug. You can see that 1 bloom coming. She really shouldn't get much taller than this, so I do need to come back and prune her a little bit. She didn't get a good pruning this year. And she's sitting under a tree that has honeydew from aphids. And so she's been put through the ringer. This is Queen of Sweden. You can get this one off of Heirloom Roses. It's also a David Austin. And I love, love, love this rose. This would definitely be one of my top 4 roses. And the petals, or the blooms on it, face upward because it's supposed to be a shorter rose. You're able to use it to like border walkways and things like that. She doesn't get like too many thorns, like 1, 2, 3, 4. Like that's not that many thorns in like comparison to roses. So she's not gonna like really grab at you. And she's supposed to be a very full rose. You keep her kind of short up, and the blooms just face upward. They don't like flop over like a lot of roses do. Really, really pretty rose. Queen of Sweden is definitely one of my like top 4. We're gonna move on. We're gonna go back here where I have 2 more roses. So back this way, you guys had asked me over and over and over again what this rose is, and I could not tell you until a few of you guys told me what it was. Okay, you can see there's a bee on it. The bees love this rose. This is one branch right here. You can see right here. This is a pink iceberg rose. You can get this from Heirloom Roses, and I will link it down below. And this thing blooms. It's the first to bloom, and it's the last to stop blooming on the property. I have used and abused this thing. It used to be in our front yard, and I cut it back to the ground, and I hated it there, so I dug it up and I moved it back here to the backyard, and then our dog ripped it out of the ground, and then I moved it again, and now it's back here. And it's been one of the happiest roses that we have on the property. It is so beautiful. Usually she's a little more full on this side. I don't know. Maybe I did some pruning that I don't remember, or Brent did. But if we go in here, look at her. Isn't that like a sight to be seen? So many blooms. She's been in the ground for 3 years. Even as the like this one you can see is aged, and it's about to like, it doesn't turn brown when it goes to drop its petals. Like they stay this like pinkish color. And then, I mean, I'll take garbage that looks like rose petals, but it just drops its old petals. It doesn't hold on to them. It's a really, really beautiful rose. I love this thing. This is also probably one of my top 4 roses. You get so many blooms out of this thing. If you're gonna grow an iceberg rose, grow this pink one. You will not be disappointed. And then the next one that we have is right over there, growing on the shed, which you guys hear me talk about these 2 roses probably the most. This over here is my Claire Austin rose, and she is one that I'm so excited for. She has these beautiful buttery yellow blooms. She's only about 2 years old. You can see right here all of these rose hips. So she does produce quite a bit. I've never seen her rose hips change colors. They've always pretty much stayed this green color right here. And then you can really see her seeds. So I've never used any of those in flower arrangements, but really big, huge, beautiful hips. And I mean, it's the most beautiful, buttery, creamy yellow color. I love it. The smell is amazing, especially like you can see there was a whole bunch of them right in this one area. And when the sunlight hits it and it starts to perfume the air, it smells divine. You can see I've got 2 more right here. And it's funny too, because they do get little splashes on the back petals, like the first like couple on the back that are pink. But then the rest of it is this like really buttery yellow color. It's just like a random couple. But you can see this is an aged one. You can see, I mean, even as she ages, she doesn't hold on to her petals. She just drops them. She drops them before they even start to turn brown. And she smells so beautiful. This is a small bloom. And so are both of these right here. This is probably about normal size bloom right here, actually. And she looks almost like a peony. I mean, is that not so pretty? Beautiful smell, beautiful color, climbing rose. She gets quite large, and her blooms do get heavy, so she does tend to like hang with her blooms. So you want to make sure that you're growing her up something, so that way as blooms do begin to hang down, you can still see them, because I'm going to have her grow this way and her blooms will face us downward. So it's really, really exciting. This is one of my other favorites. I would say, honestly, it would be like Claire Austin, the pink iceberg rose, silver lining. Oh man, and I'm gonna have to choose between another one that we're gonna talk about, which is over there, and the Eden Climber, and I don't know which one I would choose. Okay, we're gonna keep going on. I think that's it for back here. So if we come over this way, if we come back to this bed, lighting is a little bit hard, and I should move this one. I'm gonna pronounce it wrong. You guys are gonna correct me. I think it's called Alnwick. You can get this one off of Heirloom Roses too. Really pretty pink blooms. She needs more sun, so this fall I am gonna transplant her. But 4 feet wide, 2.5, or 4 feet tall, 2.5 feet wide, and it's kind of about where she sits is about 4 feet by 2.5 feet. Really pretty blooms, and she does produce quite a good number, especially for being somewhere. I mean, you guys can see how shaded this is. Like, this is full shade. This is middle of the day right now. It's about 3 o'clock, and this is full shade. So, yeah, really, really pretty rose. And I'm really happy that it can actually handle some of this shade. Okay, so I was looking, and we actually are gonna have to remove this hops bush. I'm gonna replant it with a different one. I love it, but I'm gonna have to pull this thing out, which is super unfortunate. It's covered beyond the point of repair with scale, and ants are going so crazy for it. I don't think you guys can tell too well, but it is absolutely on every single branch. I don't know how I didn't notice. Well, actually I do, because it was hidden behind coleus and hidden behind, you know, dahlia and quite a few other things. It's kind of tucked back in here. I love this thing. It gets such beautiful color in the fall time and in the springtime. I'm going to take it out here pretty quick. Actually, probably when I'm done with this video, and I will be replacing it. It is just covered, and I'm not going to fight that. Okay, so we're gonna move on to the very last rose, which is right over here. If I can get out of this bed in my little shadow. Right over here, this is another one that is like a top performing rose, and this is Soul Sister. And this one was sent out to me by Heirloom Roses, and I cannot believe the amount of blooms that this thing has already put on for us. We've probably gotten 8 to 10 blooms on this thing, and the color, it starts out this beautiful fiery red color, and they open up and they turn to this like beautiful creamsicle orange. Beautiful rose. She is an amazing performer. This is the Soul Sister. It doesn't have any stats on here, but this is one that I would have to I need to see how the Eden Climber looks when it starts blooming next year. And it's going to be really hard to choose between, for my top 4 roses, which, you know, usually you choose like top 3, but there's no way I could choose top 3. Realistically, I would want to choose like top 5, and it would be like Soul Sister, Eden Climber, Claire Austin, the pink iceberg rose, those 2, and the silver lining. Top roses. Soul Sister though is so beautiful, and I have been like blown away with its performance, even though it's only been in the ground for such a short period of time. It's been just a few months, and we've gotten so many blooms off of this thing, and every time I see a bloom that opens up, I'm just in awe every single time. All right, you guys, so that is my quick tour of all of the roses that we have on the property. They're doing so well, and I'm so pleased with the ones that were sent out by Heirloom Roses and all of our other ones. I just have been kind of like blown away by roses this year. They've quickly become a favorite of mine in the garden. Brent actually used to hate roses, and they have very quickly also become one of his favorites in the garden. The smell that they like bring to the garden and the look that they bring to the garden is just, it's amazing. And they're just amazing plants, and you know, you can get them in different colors and different sizes and different petal counts, so we love them. Like I said, if you guys want to order roses, now's a good time. 20% off with the code VISITFALL. You guys will, I mean, if you're in an area like me, get it planted. We still have so much time before our first light frost, and realistically, like, as long as your soil is workable, you can be planting. So that is going to be it for this video, you guys. Thanks for coming along with me to check out all the roses. It is so windy, and I'm going to go inside. Bye, guys.